So we finally just got a trailer for Bowser's Fury, and it looks incredible.
Yes!
Ahoy, folks, and welcome to another Game Explained discussion. I'm Tris, and I'm joined by Chris.
Hello!
Finally, the Tris and Chris show.
That's right.
To discuss this new trailer for Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. So, Chris, initial thoughts.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know what my initial thoughts are. This trailer just released probably like 15, 20 minutes ago as of the time of recording this, so Tris and I are definitely still processing all of this. There's just so many, I jotted down some notes here, but overall, I mean, I'm really excited. This looks amazing. It's just interesting to me. The thing that strikes me as the most interesting about this is how it is this strange blend of Mario Odyssey and Mario 3D World. Like, as I was watching this, the more and more I watched it, I started just kind of subconsciously thinking to myself, this is like Odyssey 2 or Odyssey DLC. And I totally forgot, no, this is part of 3D World. And I think that's because of kind of the more open world nature of this and the way the camera moves around, but also it's at like around 1:06 into it. There is a victory animation where you collect this, I don't know what to call this yet, but it's sort of like something, it's like akin to a shine sprite or a moon or something like that. And I see that victory animation, and that is the same victory pose as Mario Odyssey, except just with Cat Mario. And I'm just like, what the heck? So it's this really cool kind of blend of the two. It's really exciting, but yeah, we'll get into more, I guess, like specific thoughts in just a moment. But Tris, how about you? What are your kind of overall thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's really surprising. This is not at all what I was expecting. I'm glad this wasn't like an overview trailer that broke up like half and half for the games. I'm glad this was really a Bowser's Fury trailer.
It is all Bowser's Fury for sure.
And it's wild. Like as you were saying, this really does feel like a blend between Mario Odyssey and 3D World. Like this is what people originally wanted 3D World to be back on the Wii U. A big 3D Mario like this, and it's incredible that we're getting this combined together. And I think the more I look at this, the more I just can't help but be incredibly excited for this.
Oh, same here. It is so exciting, and there's just so much to unravel about this too. Like, is it all just one interconnected world? Like, I think it is.
Yeah, everything in this trailer is in this one place.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder how long this actually is. I suppose, theoretically, if you beat Bowser in this one world, maybe he'll just move to another one. But
that's
the
interesting.
fact that everything happens here makes me think it's going to be relatively condensed.
Yeah.
But this has to be a pretty big area to keep you here for like a few hours at least.
No, that's what I was thinking too. I mean, that's an interesting idea of how potentially it could just move on to another area that's similar to this, and Bowser just kind of, storms another, another kind of environment that's like this one. But I didn't really get that thought while I was watching it. That's an interesting take. I was thinking just this is the mode. Like, this whole area is primarily where it will take place. And yeah, I'm just wondering how exactly they'll divide this up. Like, just because from all the hints and cues that I'm getting from this trailer, it kind of seems like almost this is the type of thing you would complete in one sitting. Like, just go about this whole world and explore, and then you get to the end. And I imagine toward the end of the trailer where we get, giant Cat Mario and giant Calamity Bowser, I imagine that, that sort of comes toward the end of this. So yeah, it's just a really interesting kind of unusual thing, but I just love how unique this is. It's seems to be different from anything we've ever had before, and very much different from 3D World itself, which this is in the same on the same cartridge of, which I think is so interesting.
Yeah, and I think what's also interesting is, as you mentioned, it seems like the whole thing with the giant Bowser is kind of at the end.
Yeah,
and it makes me wonder if this world kind of progresses, because it looks like you have to free the lighthouses, which I think was theorized from the beginning. And I think Bowser reacts the more you have saved of them, or the more you've opened. So I think this area will change dynamically based on how much you've completed it.
Yeah, as Bowser gets more furious.
Yeah, as Bowser gets more furious. Because one of the things I noticed through this is, it's not like as soon as Bowser reveals himself, I guess, you go to fight him. It looks like you still progress through like half the game.
That's true. There's a lot of chasing and definitely.
And it makes you. That's why I'm wondering if it changes through progression, or if there's like a timer, and he just like goes on a cooldown, goes back to sleep, and then wakes back up again like this.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, on that note too, on the note of kind of, yeah, you're not really fighting, or a lot of this, we don't see you fighting Bowser, but you're just kind of running away from him, or just at least dodging his, you know, his shooting fire and everything. And in one of the shots in particular, Mario's riding Plessy. Is that?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And that's really fun too. I love how they're bringing Plessy back. We see them in another point in the trailer too, but I'm really excited too because all the Plessy levels in 3D World are, well, much like 3D World itself, very linear. Like you start at the start of the level and you get to the end. But it appears from this that you can actually, you know, ride Plessy around in more of an open environment, and that's really cool to me too. That's just pretty exciting.
Yeah, there's so much going on here.
There's so much.
I mean, and especially with Plessy. And what I love too is in the original trailer for this, I believe there was the whole thing of like, oh, like what's all this like black at the edge of the world? Does the world just drop off there? No, it looks like that's this weird the poisonous stuff. So I guess Plessy can't touch that, but it's really interesting to see this world, and it definitely looks bigger than we thought it would. So that's why I do agree. It looks like all one level, but I think they'll have different themings to them because I think there's like a single point. Yeah, there's a single point around 50 seconds in where it's an ice area.
Oh, yeah, I see that, where Mario's using the propeller cap. Or right after that.
Yeah, like right after that, where he's like launching. And I can't, it looks, everything else about the world looks the same. So I feel like this area is just so grand, it spans different climates. Yeah,
I mean, my gosh, like that shot of around like 48 seconds of Mario using the propeller cap, like, that is just like, it looks like this huge like windmill clock tower-esque like tower, and it's just so, yeah, it's so grand and gigantic. Oh man, this is so cool. Okay, so one thing we haven't even mentioned yet, which is a pretty prominent part of this whole trailer, is Bowser Jr.
Yeah.
What the heck? That's so cool. So I guess Mario and Bowser Jr. are working together.
Maybe Bowser's like too furious and he can't distinguish friend or foe.
Yeah, Bowser Jr. has to calm his father down a bit.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting about this is it doesn't look, or at least to me, from the way this plays out, it doesn't look like Bowser Jr.'s on the same par as like Luigi, Peach, Toad from the main game. It actually reminds me more of like if you hook up a player 2 for Cappy or the co-star Luma.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Where he just kind of follows around and he can do some things. But it doesn't look like, for example, it doesn't look like you can decide to bench Mario and play as Bowser Jr.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be any swapping between the two characters. He definitely seems to be more of just kind of like a partner character, pretty much.
Yeah, which is interesting. It makes me wonder how much control you would get over him, if any, outside of the potential co-op aspect I was mentioning. And I guess then it begs the question, obviously, we've been trying to theorize to try to figure out what the heck Bowser's Fury is and Bowser's Fury is and what we can actually see from it. And I know one of the things a lot of people have been coming up with is, oh, maybe there's another playable character that if you play this mode first, you unlock them for the full 3D world mode. And I don't really think I could see Bowser Jr. doing that. On one hand, it's great that they actually brought Bowser Jr. in because he wasn't in 3D World. But yeah, I don't know how they could decide to make Bowser Jr. playable in the main game. So I don't think they will, sadly.
Yeah, it seems like, I definitely agree with you there. It seems like Bowser Jr., I mean, there's a few moments where he uses his sort of paintbrush to kind of interact with the environment. Like, for example, around like 59 seconds in, there's this question mark on the wall with kind of these, I don't know, these bricks around it, and I think the wall is sort of cracked. And yeah, he uses his paintbrush there to make an item appear, which is pretty cool. And first off, just on the paintbrush, I love the kind of canonical connection there to Mario Sunshine. I just love how, I think that's so great. I love that. It's not just Bowser Jr., but he's got the same brush, which is really cool. But yeah,
he's kept it all this time.
But as far as I can tell, again, we'll look at this trailer in more depth later, but as far as I can tell, that seems to be the main thing that Bowser Jr. can do that's different from Mario, you know, the main kind of element that Bowser Jr. adds. But I hope that there's some pretty cool ways that they use Bowser Jr. to interact with the environment and, you know, create new kind of gameplay events and that sort of thing based on that to kind of, you know, really warrant his existence here. But nonetheless, regardless, I think it's really cool that you're seemingly working together with Bowser Jr. especially because Bowser's the main villain, and you know he's all angry, and I just think I love the dynamic of that. It's cool having to work together. So
it's not often that I get really excited for a Mario story specifically because Bowser's the main villain.
Yeah,
and this is one of them.
And also like yeah, and excited for a Mario story that's just an add-on to a full game that we're already getting. Like, this is just such an interesting situation, and this mode, it totally doesn't have to be everything that it is seeming to be, yet they're just going the extra mile with it, and that's really cool.
Yeah, and I love the fact that it seems whatever fully is going on here, it feels grand, which I know is the main concern for this expansion, whatever it was going to be. Everyone was worried it was going to be like a small thing tacked onto the title,
right?
That wouldn't have been worth it. But this honestly looks incredible.
Totally, this looks amazing. I mean, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think something I meant to touch upon earlier when we talked about the characters. Where's everyone aside from Mario?
That's a good point. That sort of leads to a question I was going to ask you, which is, where do you think this falls in line with 3D World? Like, does this take place after? I mean, again, the story doesn't, you know, really matter. Like, it's probably not their top priority, but yeah, I mean, the lack of Luigi and Peach and Toad does definitely beg the question, how does this kind of connect to 3D World? I assume it takes place after, but
yeah. I would think it's after, since it's even further use of the cat bell and all that. And I mean, I would assume, and Mario has like Plessy and all these things, so I feel like Mario has to understand this world a little bit more.
Yeah, but, I mean, they are kind of isolated in this area, which, you know, I think you touched on earlier with the kind of black goop that's surrounding everything. So maybe it's just the fact that Mario's trapped here and he can't get out. So yeah.
And I do think it's, since this is looking more like we mentioned earlier, like a single player campaign where Bowser is more of like the co-op character. Maybe you just pick which character you go in with, which you can do in normal 3D World. So you can play through the whole game as Toad if you want.
That's a good point.
For example, it's entirely possible that's what's going on here, and they're just showing it as Mario because Mario's the main character, or because I'm looking through the trailer again. There's a quick scene. And this is just speculation with this. There's a quick scene, I'm trying to find the exact timestamp, just before Bowser fully reveals himself, where it's like a minute 15, where you have Cat Mario standing around. There's these other little cats all around him, and the color palettes of them and the markings on them look just like the cat pirates to the other characters. Granted, the one on the far right's red, not pink. So I don't think that matches like Peach.
It's pretty pink to me. I can't quite tell, but yeah,
it's not quite the same kind of pink though. Like Peach's is like is much more like pale, I guess is the best way to put it. It's not as vivid. And then the blue one has the same kind of markings that Cat Toad has.
Wow, that's a really interesting observation. I totally didn't notice that.
It's a fun little thing that I noticed and I looked at, and it made me wonder if that ties into things. But after, and I guess this is a little teaser for something I'll try to go into more with the analysis. After Bowser wakes up, I guess is the best way to put it, and we see gameplay again, like a minute 35, they're just walking around as enemies, those little cats.
Wow.
It reminds me of Skyward Sword on Skyloft, where there's like those little...
oh my gosh, yes, what are they called? Those little weird cat creature things. Yeah.
Yeah, where like at night they're bad.
Oh, I was trying to figure out what that reminds me of. And that's totally it, yeah. That's hilarious.
So, yeah, and I think... Therefore, that's not what these are, because these look more like they're common creatures that become enemies. But it's interesting that there's source material, I guess, for the different cat costumes.
Yeah,
is where this actually boils down to.
Yeah, I mean, there are 4 of them here, and there's 4 of them in the shot from earlier, so you never know. I
think we see them a couple of the times in the trailer in other areas, is why I think they might just be common enemies, or common creatures, I guess is the best way to put it, because they're not explicitly enemies.
Cats.
Yeah, common cats. I think, man, I don't know. Like, I hope there's some sort of explanation for why the other characters aren't here. It could literally just be in like the opening of the game, whichever character you pick, or specifically Mario, just gets like sucked into this world or something. I don't know. But
yeah,
Bowser just reaches out of a portal and grabs you and pulls you in. I don't know.
That would be cool. That'd be super cool.
All right, I think we jumped through a lot here. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Okay, there is one other thing like actually worth talking about, I would say, before we wrap up, and that's I'm going to say Lion Mario because of the tail. Because everyone's already saying Super Saiyan Mario,
which is also pretty fitting.
This is really interesting. I mean, I guess it makes the most sense to combat Bowser this way, but it makes me wonder how Bowser got like this. Because it's not like Bowser got corrupted by the same thing you're using, where it's like the giant cat bell. It's clear more so that that he sealed it, and you need to use that to stop him. Become his size, kind of thing.
Yeah, isn't there like the kind of infected giant cat bell, which appears at the beginning of the trailer, which is all spiky and everything? Maybe that's
but it looks like it's sealed, and then like when you
that's true. Yeah, because you're freeing it.
Towers, it becomes what you use here.
Okay, then yeah, I don't know. Yeah, how did Bowser get that way? That's interesting.
Hopefully, yeah, I'm actually looking forward to seeing that. And then I love how just before the trailer fades out, you see the camera stops being cinematic, and it kind of pans back behind this Lion Mario.
Oh, yeah.
And you see Bowser Jr. still floating in there with him.
Poor Bowser Jr.
And this is just going to turn into a big kaiju fight, it looks like.
Wow. Oh, yeah, that seems like it's definitely going into gameplay there when the camera moves back like that. Yeah, what is this? I mean, this reminds me of a lot of things. I'm sure it reminds everyone of something different, but to me, it kind of gives me the impression of I think it's Mario and Luigi Dream Team. Is that what it is? The end of that?
Oh, the giant battles?
Yeah, the giant battles. I think that's what it is, and you rotate the 3DS to its side for those.
Yep.
That it sort of reminds me of that. Just Mario just becomes this giant, and you can see from his face too. Like he's got his game face on. Like he is ready to fight.
Mario's serious.
It is. Oh yeah.
I love when he grows. He gets he strikes the official art pose.
Oh, true.
For Cat Mario.
And
he just kind of sticks in that pose as he grows.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of funny looking.
Oh, that is funny.
It's also kind of funny too, as a point to mention, this reliance on, or this heavy presence of this kind of black goop, whatever you want to call it, and then Bowser Jr. with his paintbrush. Strangely enough, this is reminding me of Paper Mario Color Splash.
Yeah, that's interesting.
We have Bowser corrupted by this dark paint energy, and you have like the other paints to help you get around it. I'm very curious if Bowser Jr. will have any abilities that are like essential to this. But
yeah, that's what I was wondering. Yeah. I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, regardless of like how much of a role Bowser Jr. ends up actually playing, I do just love, like I was saying earlier, just the concept of it. I think is great, and it does definitely add another element, just kind of another cool story element to it as well.
Yeah, and hey, this might be among the first canon games where we have Bowser Jr. with a playable character.
Yeah.
I'll say with because we don't know the full extent that he is playable.
That's true. But no, it's really exciting. And I guess we could probably jump into our summary now because I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, we pretty much covered everything.
Yeah, this just looks amazing. I'm so blown away by this. I mean, you and I both, nobody had any idea what to expect. We didn't even know if for sure that we'd be getting any more details on Bowser's Fury in particular today. For all we know, it could have just been another trailer for the 3D World main game. So I'm really glad that this was all about Bowser's Fury. And like I had already seen comments from people online before this trailer saying, 3D World plus Bowser's Fury is going to end up being one of the only Wii U ports or Wii U enhanced ports that I end up double dipping on because 3D World was already such a great game, but this just adds so much more to it. And it is super exciting, definitely.
Yeah, I'm really excited to jump into this and really explore this world. I think this really gives us a nice treat and a nice look at what 3D World could have been and people have been talking about for so long, so I'm really happy to see this this way to revisit it with, funny enough, with a fresh coat of paint.
Yeah, exactly.
Alrighty, well, I think that about wraps up this discussion. So, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to stay tuned for more, including our upcoming analysis, because we're definitely doing one. That's going to be fun. But until next time, farewell.
See ya.